Jackie Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. So they say the subsequent fall wasn't inevitable. They never stood a chance, they were written that way. Why didn't they just change their story? Told what would have to be told, but surely sometimes you have to be a little bit naughty. It's really good, life's not a thing. You just have to grin and bear. You always take it on the chin and wear it. Nothing will change. Until you can do what you must make life will stop you. You see around thinking on top of you. You might as well stay. That's not right. And it's not right. Yeah. Jackie said, I'm a special princess. Why did you leave all this thing? What? Why did you people mistake?
Nice job. All right, so, they're actually gonna head out, and I promised them all a snack on there. So, Miss Vicky will bring you right up in the hallway, friends. Yeah, that's all. Thank you. But,
Miss Harvey asked me if I was playing this.
I really wanted to, they wouldn't let me. So our show is, April 24th and 25th. I highly encourage you guys to come see it. It is, going to be a great time. We actually had a grant to take us to go see, the Philip Junior at River Valley Theater. So they were also, doing the Philip Junior, and we crashed our opening night. And our kids were so excited because they were kids. And it wasn't until we got there that they realized like we weren't actually going to the movies, because they're like, what do you get popcorn? What movies? And I'm like, no, so it was a really great experience. And they got to meet some of the cast. The director came out and talked to us. So it was really neat. And so we actually had previously presented our data to you guys. And so we made across the wall a reel from our year. We have several students that are not able to be posted on social media. And so we actually have our own like social media platform. It's called the House Points app. It goes along with our house system. Kids are able to be assigned points. Every class has its own like news feed. The school has a news feed. And so what you see around the room are things from the entire year, and there are QR codes to some like videos and celebrations and different things that we have had. And so I highly encourage you to check out. This month happens to be I Love My House month. And each week has been themed differently for each house. If you came in the building, you're wondering why there's all this blue, it's because it's the Blue House Week. It's the House of Birth this week, and so they're the dreamers. So each week the kids have had opportunities to earn bracelets, and the different colored bracelets go along with the characteristic of the house. So when they show friendship, they earn their red bracelet. When they show creativity, they earn their blue bracelet. When they were had like a giving spirit, when they were helpful, they earned their black bracelet. And then green bracelet was whenever they showed courage. And there are 800 of the other bracelets, to put it in perspective. There are 50 white bracelets, and those are like superstar kids who are showing more of those characteristics at one time. And so we still have some out there that have not been secured yet. But the kids have a big celebration when they get a white bracelet. And so it's been a really, really fun time. And so at our LSIC, some of the things that we have talked about have been, hot topic keeping sixth grade in our building, which we would love to do if ever the opportunity presented itself. But one of the things that really is near and dear to our parents' hearts are school sports. They really, really, really would like to see our school sports come back as opposed to like the community youth league. They really want like Talkit to have a team. And so I don't know where that lies in any of the things. But that is like just one of the things that means a lot to them. And so we have noticed kind of the difference in like kids understanding mascots and school spirit and those kind of things because they've shifted a little bit because they don't have a team necessarily to cheer for, like at Friday night football kind of thing. And so, so I don't know how long it's been that way, but they would like to see them come back this direction. And so other than that, do you guys have any questions?
Just a comment, you always put on a production for your LSIC. We never know what we're gonna get, but it's always good.
Oh, good, because last year Mr. Bergen made a comment, you did something similar last year, and I was like, next year we will not. So, yes, but we thank you guys so much for coming up and always taking an interest in our kids. We're doing some really great things. We had some social studies fair winners, young writers winners. There are art pieces back there. If you look at March, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think there are 7 Youth Arts in the Parks winners. And so their work is being displayed at Tamarack. And so they have a little art show. Our after-school program is what takes care of our drama club. And then they also do a lot of arts and they do STEM projects and many different things. We have, oh gosh, I would say more than a third of our students who attend after school. And most of those are in regular attendance. And so things are going well. But thank you, Kristen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so that takes care of our LSIC for Talkit. I will say, if there's anyone who has a student and they don't want to stay, this is the time where you feel free to walk out and there will be no judgment here. So, with that, I will go to our next item, and that's item 6, employee discipline. And I will make a motion under West Virginia Code 6-9A-4, paragraph 2, employee discipline, that we go into executive session.
Second.
A second by Mr. McBride. So a motion by myself, seconded by Mr. McBride, according to West Virginia Code 6-9A-4, paragraph 2, employee discipline, that we go into executive session. Is there any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstaining. Let the minutes reflect by a 5-0 vote. We will now go into executive session. The time is 6:23 p.m.
Smartphone disconnected.
Okay, executive session ended at 6:38. There was an update on a student discipline we're looking at, but at this time, the board will take no action on that that student discipline. Item 9, public comment. Okay, item 10, we have some minutes to approve. The first one, let's see here. So we'll handle March 16th separately. Let's do March 10th first.
Make a motion that we approve the minutes for March 10th work session and the March 10th regular meeting.
I'll second that. So a motion by Mrs. Harvey, seconded by myself, that we approve the minutes for the March 10th work session and the March 10th regular meeting. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstaining?
Abstain.
Let the minutes reflect by a 3-0 vote that the March 10th work session and regular meeting minutes have been approved. March 16th, there is one adjustment that needs made on the March 16th minutes. For the roll call, it had Mr. McBride attending via phone. I know there was some issues with the connection there, getting Mr. McBride connected, so he was unable to join us by phone. So I make a motion that we approve the March 16th minutes with the edit of the roll call and remove Mr. McBride as being in attendance by phone. Do I have a second?
I think was it the March 10th or the March 16th, Craig?
Were you on the phone on the 10th, 16th? I was thinking it was the 16th. Let's back up. Let's undo our action from March 10th. I'll make a motion that we withdraw the action on the March 10th. So a motion by myself, seconded by Mrs. Harvey, to withdraw the action on the March 10th minutes. Thank you, Mrs. Farley. So
You're
let's go
welcome.
back and let's go back to the March 10th. So those were the ones, Mr. McBride, that you had trouble dialing in on. So let's
Correct.
make an adjustment. I'll make a motion with the adjustment of the attendance on the March 10th meeting that we approve the March 10th minutes for the work session and the regular meeting. Okay, so a motion by myself, seconded by Mrs. Harvey, that we approve the March 10th meeting minutes with the adjustment to the roll call. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstaining? Let the minutes reflect by a 3-0 vote with 2 abstaining that the March 10th work session and regular meeting minutes have been approved. Now we have the March 16th meeting minutes. So, do I have a motion to approve the March 16th minutes?
I make a motion that we approve the March 16th minutes.
And I'll second that. So a motion by Mrs. Farley, seconded by myself, to approve the March 16th meeting minutes. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstaining?
Aye.
Let the minutes reflect by a 4-0 vote with 1 abstaining that the March 16th meeting minutes have been approved. All right, item 11, we have our approval of bills. I think you have to leave. Yeah, you do. Do you?
No, see,
No, I don't think you do.
I don't, but
I didn't see any.
I didn't see him earlier when I looked at him, but I looked down and I saw R.E. Michaels and I was thinking that. All right, so we have the
motion, we pay the bills.
have the bill before us. We have a motion by Mr. Brogan that we pay the bills. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. McBride. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstaining? Let the minutes reflect by a 5-0 vote that the bills have been approved for payment.
That motion.
Mr. Brogan did. Mr. McBride seconded. Item 12, we have no old business. Item 13, new business. We have no purchases over 25,000. Yay.
Yay.
And we have item B, discussion or action for updated property insurance and flood coverage. We have a spreadsheet in our folder.
Is this something that y'all discussed on the meeting that I was on vacation?
This was, yes. And so I'm assuming, Ms. Crook, you put this spreadsheet together? So in the spreadsheet, Mr. Brogan, under recommendation, these are the things we talked about. First, when we met with Mr. Farley, and then again, when we went around to each location. Would one of you all like to kind of go over this, or?
So the first four columns are what we had been over whenever we went through the work session, our county field trip. And then after we met with Mr. Farley, we talked about what the recommendations were based on these, the 5 different properties, the central office, the bus garage, this school, Jumping Branch, and the three places at the high school complex. And then we talked about what values we were increasing, what kind of things that we needed to increase, whether it was contents or the structure. And then at the last meeting, the recommendation was kind of giving us a better and then a best. And the recommendation, or kind of what the insurance recommends, is $400 per square foot for school locations right now. And whenever you look at that based on Talcott Elementary, the square footage, as you can see, based on the square footage, we're at about $10 million. So we got 2 different quotes. There's one that's better, and then there's one that's also best. So you can see the difference of what that would increase. The better is the first, what that increase would be, and then the second is the best. That's the maximum value that we could achieve this building for. And then also what you see is the contents value, what we're currently insured for, and then the structure value, what we're currently insured for. So you can see that there's 3 different things that we can currently make decisions on. The first column, if we were to go with just this, and we can also pick and choose. With that first column, if we were to just pick those things all apart, the yearly increase would be $2,500, or approximately $2,500 with the quarterly cost, because we pay this quarterly. So our property insurance is approximately $7,000 a quarter. So we're right now paying $28,344 a year. So about $7,000 a quarter, what we're paying. So as you can see, if we go with those better rates, we're looking at about $600 an increase per quarter. If we go with that best option for everything, we're looking at an increase of about $1,300 a quarter. The other thing that we talked about with Mr. Farley is that the high school is in a 500-year floodplain. So we are not required by law or by statute that we have to have flood insurance at that facility. And I was at a meeting, I don't even know what week it is. It was the beginning of last week. And I did talk to Uriah Cummings from the State Department. And we are not required to have flood insurance for that facility because we are in a 500-year floodplain. However, if we choose to have something, we could, and Benji did quote that for us, Mr. Farley did quote that for us, and it's on the back of the spreadsheet. So there are 2 quotes for that. The first is a $250,000, that's with a $5,000 deductible, and that's for the building only, and that's for an annual policy, and that's $3,700. So this did come back a little higher than what he was originally anticipating. The second quote that he gave us was $250,000 for the building with a $100,000 for contents and a $5,000 deductible. Now, being in a 500-year floodplain, FEMA would come in and help us for that if something were to happen. But we may want to be a little more proactive just because it is our only high school and it is our largest facility. So that is also something to think about. So,
I mean, with concrete and block, basically, we're just gonna have tons of cleanup for the most part. That would cover that.
That was kind of Benji's, I'm gonna say that's really what his recommendation was for that, because of, you know, with concrete and block. That's what he quoted us at.
I think, yeah, I think that maybe to feed on that question, if, the way I'm looking at it, the 250,000 for the building, does that cover damage to the building, or would that 250 cover cleanup of the building? Like if we just had to clean mud out and,
So he didn't go into detail, but I can ask those
okay,
questions.
that would be good to know, because if it only covers structural damage to the building, yeah,
Unless it's legit.
right.
Right.
Okay, I can answer those questions.
When is our next payment? Do you know? Or when have we, where are we
So
at in the
we just
quarter?
made, so those are quarterly payments, and we
Okay.
just made one, I think it's the last board meeting for April 1st.
Okay.
It was due April 1st.
Yeah. I think because Mr. Brogan and Mr. McBride weren't at our walkthrough,
Mhm.
I would like to take no action on this tonight and give them a chance to look over this and see if they have any additional questions. Does that sound okay to you, Dr. Knott? Okay, and then we can put this on the next agenda. So we'll take no action on the property. Are there any other questions or comments about the property insurance?
When you hear when the last, like after we in the high school? Before,
I was on the board then, but
I was curious if, you know, tough stuff, you guys,
I do not think that they,
we saw that.
Jay was working at the bus garage at that time, and Jay, Jay was helping with the cleanup, I believe, as well, because I know my dad went down and helped with pressure washing of the facility. Do you know
I'm not
any
sure
insight
about
on
that, what happened with that,
Okay.
FEMA or anything.
I know there was a lot of just mud and things that had to be cleaned, but I don't know. All right, any other questions on the
So-
recommendations? Go ahead, Ms.
Are we
Farley.
gonna table it? I was just gonna ask, are we gonna table this to April 14th
So
then?
we're gonna take no action on it today, and then it'll be on the
Okay.
next agenda.
Okay.
All right. Item C, discussion or possible action to approve the central office relocation. This is another one. I had my folder laid out from our work session because you all had the diagrams of the layout with Hinton area. Do you have that, do we have that electronically? Because I know these two have not seen and if you all want to talk about the move, where everyone would fit. If we went with going back to the old location, or there were two options for you guys that weren't there. One was to go back to the former board office, and the other was for the board office to be relocated into the high school, middle school complex.
Whereabouts in the high school?
In that front office area. That
Well,
used to be the
that used to be
office.
the main,
Yeah. And that's, even though in my head, it still seems like it should be ideal, it really isn't the number one choice. The number one choice everybody fits is back at the annex, the old board office.
Dr. Green, was that uploaded into the, I'm checking to see, I just was seeing.
I think it's on my computer in the office, not here.
Let me look and see if it was uploaded to our files.
and what would happen to where the board office is right now?
We also on that day went over into Hinton area and, kind of had the plan for where everybody who's in the annex right now has a place to go. And,
But I mean, what's currently being used for the board office?
oh,
What would happen?
sell it.
Sell it?
And they also went over the utility costs
Yep.
of the buildings as well. And that, if you all don't have your folder from the last meeting, I would encourage you to go pick a folder up from the office and look over it, and then we can address questions that you have from it. Here we go.
You look at it.
Oh, okay. Will you have copies?
There's, well, wait.
Okay, so, so this is the board office, the former board office. And it would very much, the layout would remain the same, and then Dr. Green has put numbers in the rooms of who would go where. Then we go here, and this would be and I'm just going over it quickly because you all can, once you get this, you can look over it and then come up with questions. So this shows you where everyone would be moving within Hinton area. And then the third page would be option 2, and this has to do with the high school, middle school complex. So they would go mostly right in this student services area with a few spread out. So where you have some numbers over here that are in black, then you have some numbers in blue. So the color coded number would correspond with who would be located where. And this will be in your folder from our last meeting. So get that folder and take a look at it. And then we can talk
From
about
memory,
this
can
one.
you give us some quick high points and low points of each location of why you'd want to do one rather than the other?
Well, if, going back to the annex, all the directors, the secretaries, everybody fits in that building. There is space for everybody. There's office space for everybody. It is centrally located. Going to the high school, it's just everybody couldn't be in that complex. Some people would be in the hallway off of one of the little offices back there. We just felt that it's better for the team to be together. Because I'll tell you the truth, sometimes Kirk gets left out. We said, did you invite Kirk? Well, we forgot. So, kind of a thing. People come to the office we're in now, and attendance director's not there. He's at the other building. So you either send them to the other building or you take care of it for him, kind of a thing.
One of the things that I thought about over this, as I was kind of thinking about this agenda item over the past week, seems like when we had the current board office remodeled, of course, we all remember the cost rising exponentially because of the requirements of
Having students.
to be able to have the fireproofing in the ceiling, to be able to still use the gym for students. So if my memory is correct, and it may not be, but it seems like whenever we went through, and I say this because I remember one of the comments were that we may not be able to have students in the former board office anymore. So it seems like whenever that took place and we did some additional work down there to kind of make that into a STEM area, that the fire marshal was involved in the remodel so that we were ensuring we could have students there. And so I guess my question is, did the fire marshal then come back and look at it again, or has something changed since then?
The fire marshal changed.
Okay.
And came back for a routine visit and
that's
found other things
okay.
that,
And I couldn't remember, I know we talked about it, but I couldn't remember what was said about it.
and
So
I'm
that's
not
why.
sure, it has to do with the doors. The doors
Okay.
aren't,
They're
all
not
the doors
fireproof.
aren't fireproof doors. I'm not sure what else was in that report, but that was one, and so all of the doors except for maybe 3, probably 2 or 3 would have to be changed.
Okay, to be able to keep,
To
to
keep
use
students.
students there. Okay.
And I'll also say that, I think I started this conversation to get us out of that building because I don't think you can't drink the water.
Mhm.
The bathroom is not great.
Right.
I'm over that. We're adults. However, I will say that Summers County doesn't have a lot of money.
Right.
And when we get to the point where we have to start considering about closing a school, I cannot in good faith say that we need to close this school or this school or this school while we have that giant building that has no students in it most of the time.
Right.
So I think it's kind of like the first to go. It does cost us money to maintain. It is an aging structure, even though it's been renovated on the bottom. The roof will need to be replaced, the heaters in the gym. I think maybe there's 3 and
3 out of 4 that aren't
that don't work.
functioning.
So those are all money down the road that's gonna have to be put into it. So it's just if we have to close a building, let's close that one first.
Mhm.
And there's room in the county for us to go somewhere else.
Where would we move, what we're using for, storage and for our food?
When we did our tour, we did have a plan for that. And it involves the electrical shop and originally involved the electrical shop. We do have a plan B if we want to keep that space as an electrical shop for the future. For that piece of it, we have another place for that to go.
What was your question about storage?
Custodial
food
storage,
storage.
maintenance
Oh,
storage, and the
gotcha.
warehouse freezers.
I will say that the utility spreadsheet that was provided to us was very enlightening for me. I was shocked.
Is that in the folder as well?
The utility costs.
Right now. Yeah, I have them up right now. So central office where it's currently located, at 418 Simple, an average between water, sewage, natural gas, and the electricity, on a yearly average, it's costing us about $56,000 a year. And like I said, that's an average. In 22, it was 29,000. In 2024, it was $97,000 to operate that facility. Whenever we were at 116 Main Street, there was no natural gas, and from 2017 to 2021, the average was approximately $8,000 a year. So when you're looking at, so when you're looking at a 4 to 5 year average, that's a huge increase. Now, we did get rid of Summers Middle School, that facility. So this is only the gym. So from 22 to 25, we were still paying some of that while we were trying to get rid of that facility, but that was a separate cost because we had separated all of those from 2 separate buildings. But that is, do you want me to go through each facility? Okay. So it is a large chunk of change to operate that one building. And there is practice in there. But we're not utilizing the top level like it could be utilized all the time.
You just forgot insurance costs, what else is that including?
That is only including water, sewage, natural gas, and electricity.
Is that heated by natural gas? Do we know what those heaters are? Or are they electric?
That facility does have natural gas.
Okay. Because there was a big jump in the utility costs for that building, and I'm wondering if it was where there's only one heater and it was working extremely hard and
We did
inefficient.
have, there have been some utility increases, but it does look like 2024, there was a pretty big increase in some utility costs during that time in fiscal year 24. So I'm not sure, there would need to be a little bit more research that one fiscal year. that the facility is costing a lot to operate.
Do we currently have anyone that is interested in?
Not that I know of, but we haven't said anything,
Yeah.
but- And I know we're losing a gym, but we have gained a gym with the pocket gym. We gained one back, I guess.
Any more discussion?
Not right now.
So I would like to recommend that we also take no action on this one to give Mr. McBride and Mr. Brogan a chance to look over the recommendations that are in the folder and also the utility costs that Ms. Crook has talked about, and then we can revisit this one as well. We may have a long agenda for the next meeting. All right, one last chance. Any other discussion on this? Okay.
Not now.
Item D, discussion or possible action to approve proposed calendar changes.
I knew that I shouldn't have said anything. We had a snow day on March 17th. So I just would like the April 3rd, to take it back as an in-person instruction day for students, which once again makes their last day, May 29th, a Friday instead of a Monday, June 1st. And then the last day for staff is June 4th. I'll make a motion that we approve the recommendation.
Second.
We have a motion by Mrs. Harvey, seconded by Mr. McBride to approve the superintendent's recommendation. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Let the minutes reflect by a 5-0 vote that the superintendent's recommendation to take back April 3rd for the March 17th snow day has been approved. Item E, discussion regarding legislative update. We have any word?
Meetings are being scheduled now. I know for like special ed, they'll provide a legislative update. For superintendents, they'll provide legislative updates as it's closing out and things are finalizing. I don't really have anything right now.
As a board members, we received some information from the School Board Association. But again, a lot of that is just for informational purpose now until everything, as Dr. Knott said, until everything's finalized. So let's keep this on the agenda. And then
We should have.
if we
some
have something
update.
by the next meeting, then we can continue this discussion.
Like, House and Senate representatives, the delegates, to explain some of the updates as well.
Good idea. Dr. Knott, would you like to reach out to them or would you like me to?
No, I can do it.
Okay. Good suggestion. Thank you. So we'll keep this on the agenda. We'll move on to item F, discussion or possible action to approve overnight out-of-state trips. And we have before us the trip May 26, 2026 to Wolf Creek Village in Bastion, Virginia.
Make a motion, we approve the overnight trip.
A second.
We have a motion by Mr. Brogan, seconded by Mrs. Harvey to approve the overnight trip. Is this high school, middle school?
Third grade.
Third grade? Okay,
In there.
third grade in area. All right, any more discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Abstaining? Let the minutes reflect by a 5-0 vote, the superintendent's recommendation for the out-of-state trip has been approved. Item 14, personnel. We have before us resignation / retirements, leave of absence, transfer service personnel. We have employment professional. We have employment extra duty, extracurricular. We have employment substitute professional, employment substitute service, we have none. Summer's professional employment, transfer of service personnel, renewal of professional personnel, probationary contracts. And on that one, on the second page of names listed for the renewal of professional personnel probationary contracts, Brianna Miller is fifth grade, not second grade. And then renewal of service personnel probationary contracts, contract termination, and then a contract amendment. And if you'll note on those two, it's the same person. It's just the 204-day contract is being terminated and then a 208-day contract. An amendment's being made to the contract for a 208-day.
Mr. Angel, you had a list.
Yeah,
of
thank
the
you.
names that didn't-
So, when we met earlier this morning, Dr. Green did ask about adding some names to the list. Those positions were listed on the initial agenda. But the names had not been placed on that agenda yet, so I will read those names. I'm not gonna read all the names because as we're in personnel season, there's quite a long list of those names. But, for names that were added after the publication of the agenda, we have Jessica Ballard, that's a long-term sub. Rebecca, and that's countywide, Rebecca Brown, summer school principal, K through 5. Rose Richmond, summer school teacher. Amanda Gill, summer school teacher. Pamela Mount, summer school teacher. Jody Weichel, summer school teacher. Julia Enriquez, okay, I was close. Summers County, or summer school teacher. Megan Kales, summer enrichment teacher. Chad Kellen, summer interventionist. Carissa Workman, transfer from bus 139 to bus 140. Kevin Allen, transfer from bus 154 to bus 141. And Emily Hicks, special ed teacher at Jumping Branch. We have quite a few.
So, where it says, position location, subsequent final. We able to work out final, please.
Under transfer of service.
So the service, how that works for service personnel is, they are put on the transfer list. And then tomorrow, when we open up jobs that we know are going to exist for the 26-27 school year, they will have to bid on those jobs. And then that's kind of where their seniority will come into play as far as being able to transfer into a position. So what will happen at that point is once the posting period closes, we'll pull those job postings, and the most senior service personnel in that category will be awarded that position. And so they're on a transfer list, and it means, basically what that means is we know that there is a place for them, but they have to apply to end up ultimately placing themselves in a position.
And so all conversations have been had with those folks, so they
Yes.
know to.
We personally went to all those teachers and or service personnel and teachers.
Nobody wants to hear?
Nobody requested it.
So after the dust settles, where do we stand on state formula?
Lauren, you want to take that?
As of, we are with state formula for professional educators and professional instructional and professional support staff. We were under formula by 2.8 positions. However, with the required positions that we have, I'm pulling up my spreadsheet, which are which we are not funded for, which is the superintendent, the CSBO, and the 2 professional accountants. That ends up putting us at 1.2 over. state aid formula. Service, the last time that, I like to think we were under, or no,
Over.
we were over, I'm sorry. in the, position. And that is just simply due to the fact that we have aides
Right.
in the social work department, in our departments, and also with our grades 1 to 3, with the third grade success act that we have to have with those numbers.
But that's something else that needs to be addressed. On the state level, their requirement, you know, the place is over.
And it's really hard with service personnel to get within formula. I mean, we really did have certain personnel pop, we really did look. But at what cost to our employees and at what cost to the county do you keep cutting? At some point, it just wasn't fair. I mean, we can't work, a custodian between two facilities. I mean, at what point, it's just not right. So,
So as head being counter, what are we looking at approximately for those?
well,
Just ballpark.
you can look at approximately $50,000 a position, so we're probably about $500,000. Is what we were.
It was a little over 500, if I recall.
There, in that same packet with the layout is a copy of the proposed personnel for the upcoming.
Y'all covered all kinds of stuff while I was going to
We made great use of that time.
Yes, we did.
Second.
Hold on, I gotta get to that page.
All right.
Okay, so we have a motion by Mrs. Harvey, seconded by Mr. McBride, to accept the superintendent's recommendations for personnel. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Uh,
Opposed? Abstaining? Let the minutes reflect by a 5-0 vote that the superintendent's recommendation has been approved. Item 15, superintendent's report.
As far as virtual school, we do have a team reviewing some options,
Okay,
and we hope to have something by the second April board meeting.
okay.
I'd like to also announce that there's an informational only meeting for the levy, Monday, March 30th at Dairy Queen at 6 p.m.
Monday, March 30.
At Dairy Queen at 6 p.m.
is this gonna be announced on social media?
Yes, it was shared with all the schools. Has it already been on our Facebook page? Not yet.
Thank you.
And then Mrs. Crook has some budget timeline items. I don't know if you wanted to share those. Because you sent it, it's on my phone. I can read them if you want me to.
Okay, so typically during this meeting, we would, you all would be presented with proposed levy rates. However, because we are running an excess levy, we do not have proposed levy rates at this point in time. So we have to move some meetings around to make sure we meet our deadlines. So based on all of those dates, we will have, I would like to put the announcement in the paper for the budget hearing, on April the 15th. I would like to have the budget available to the public on April the 17th. And we will have two separate budgets, one that will have a levy and one that will not have a levy. So there would be two available copies. We would have the budget hearing on the April 28th meeting. And then I think that originally in the meeting dates, there's a meeting scheduled for, May the 12th, but that is election day. So if we could hold that meeting on May the 13th, that is the day that we will present, that will now become the statutory meeting for proposed levy rates.
Is there a reason why we're doing the 13th? Could we do the 14th or the 11th?
Well, the 11th, we couldn't hold it on the 11th because.
It has to be after.
After
It would
the,
have
after
to be
election,
11th,
okay.
Yeah,
So could we do it the 14th?
we could do it the 14th.
Okay. I'd prefer the 14th over the 13th.
Okay.
So we're moving May 12th to the 14th. Is that correct?
Still at 6 p.m.
Would you all want, be able to do an earlier meeting? On the 14th?
It can be at 6 p.m. I just wanted to make sure.
Let's move the date for now and then we'll talk about the time. We'll read it.
We would have that statutory meeting on the 14th, but that meeting would be recessed. We will not adjourn that meeting.
Okay,
And then so we will have the budget hearing on April 28th. We will have that statutory meeting with the proposed levy rates on May 14th. And then on May the 26th, we would resume that statutory meeting where you all would approve those levy rates. And they would be sent to the state auditor's office at that point in time.
okay. You keep me straight on
Yeah.
recessing that meeting.
Yeah, and then we would have to recess that meeting, but then it would be up to you all if we want to have a second meeting that evening or have this, we would probably need to have a second meeting that evening because we will.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we would have to have a second meeting because we'll also have to approve the budget because it's due at the end of that week.
I think that's the way we've done it in the past. We've held one, recessed it, and then 15 minutes later started the next one.
Okay. So, that would be, that's kind of how, as long as that's okay, well, as long as that's good with everybody. And then, if it would be okay, if we move the second meeting in June to June 30th, which is the last day of the fiscal year. So we can have a last run for all the final AP checks. And I'm asking for lots. And the last, the final budget journal entry. That's the last day we can make any journal entries. So then we don't have to bring anything to you all in the new year. We can just get one final approval. And then when you all leave, I leave and it's done. Like, the year's is done at that point in time.
That is a good idea. I don't know what they do in the past rather than just or let.
Yeah, so we would just have one final, like, and it may be several test runs, but we would just have one final. Yeah, everything's here.
So we won't be having the 21st statutory meeting in April because it has to be after the election. So there'll be two meetings in April, the 14th and the 28th.
Okay, yeah.
And
No, that's just,
When
that's when it would be in the paper. Oh. Yeah, so the regular meetings in April would just be the 14th and the 20th.
Okay. Anything else?
well, and the 14th will be at Jumping Branch. I'm not sure what it said on the original. I've changed things so much now, but it's their LSIC because we had to move theirs.
You did tell me
So
that.
the
I'm sorry.
14th is LSIC JBE board meeting and the 28th is the high school LSIC meeting.
Okay, so mark that on your calendar. We'll be at Jumping Branch on the 14th and the 28th at the high school.
the 30th. Yeah.
No, that's.
This is
June.
for April.
This is for
Oh.
April.
Yep, that's
Sorry.
June. You're good.
Right.
Mine are kind of all over the place too.
It's at the high school.
It'll be at the high school in April,
28th,
28th,
and Jumping Branch the 14th.
correct.
Okay.
And since I was still,
Yep.
since I'm looking
Keep
at my
going.
calendar, the 28th is also, early that evening because at 4:30, the, Inspiration Gallery is inducting their 2026 inductees. So there'll be a ceremony in the cafeteria prior to the board meeting.
And if you haven't been to one of those, it's well worth coming. They have presenters that some of our students will present and read about the person being inducted, and some of them have been, some of the inductees have been able to attend and speak, and it's very good presentation.
And that's all.
Is that all? All right. Item 16, point of privilege. Mr. McBride, we'll start with you.
Well, I'd just like to commend, Mrs. Brown and all the staff here at Talkett for what you're continuing. And we appreciate you updating us on all that.
Thank you. Mr. Brogan?
Not sure how to address this. I certainly didn't mean my comment before. Could be a bad comment.
I'm not offended.
All right, now I
You set the
need
bar
to.
high, and so I do appreciate all that's going on here and, you know, material we've covered tonight and what I missed while I was on vacation in the central office. You guys have certainly been covering a lot of ground and, it's eye-opening at times, just all the things that you guys are shuffling, and so it is appreciated.
Mhm. All right, Mrs. Farley.
Well, I really wish that I had been able to attend in person because it sounds like I missed some talent there tonight. And you know how I am with those kiddos. So I'm so sad that I missed that. And I just want to give hats off to Miss Brown and those talented kids.
Thank you. Mrs. Harvey?
Yes, I echo, always here for all that you guys, touch my heart for all the reasons. Be raising my baby. And my baby is at his first middle school track meet, so I want to point a privilege for the first middle school track team in several years to come back at their meet tonight. I'm grateful for Andy Lily Young, who is their coach. He's a former Summers County High School graduate and state champ for hurdles. So it's nice to have somebody who is passionate about that sport that they're coaching and able to give back. The high school team coach was gracious enough to sponsor our meets, our meet registration for this year, so that was something that they didn't have to pay for. And the Mary Foundation was graciously given the team some start funds of about $200 and other businesses and folks around the community are doing it as well, which is that we appreciate it.
For those who were not with us on the work session, I would request that you check with your colleagues and see if there is any video, because as Mrs. Farley said, you know how she is with the kiddos, and she did participate in some of the activities here with the kids at Talkit. So I'm hoping there's some video of that out there. A lot of good things going on in this school, obviously. And you always, as I said, you always do a great LSIC presentation. And, you know, just here, all the schools, Hinton area just recently had a carnival. I wasn't able to attend. I was out of town, but my daughter, she went down and worked with the class that she's been, doing her, childhood education, program with. She had a great time. Jumping Branch had a mystery dinner theater last weekend, and it was a lot of fun. It's just good to see schools getting the community involved. There's always the community involvement that takes place at the high school, middle school, when the community pours into our FFA and our ag program during the greenhouse sale. You know, they're very supportive of that program. We've seen our Pro Start program starting to offer some meals to our staff and other folks. So it's just good to see the good things that are taking place in these schools, and also the community supporting what's going on in the schools. So hats off to our schools for all the good you're doing, and hats off to our community for continuing to support our students and our staff. And most of all, our students. That's what we're all here for. Every decision we make up here, we try to make it with the best interest of our students and our staff in mind. And that sometimes it's not the decisions we want to make. We want to make the best decisions, but we also have to make those tough decisions. But we always look at what's best for our students and staff when we're making those decisions. So with that, we will talk about our next agenda. The next board meeting will be April 14th at Jumping Branch Elementary. That will be their LSIC. I would, if you said you will should have something for us for virtual school, so I'd like that on the agenda, just so we can talk about it. Again, I would encourage, if we're looking at anything, any of the virtual programs, if there's anyone who represents those programs that would like to come and address the board, I would like for the board members to hear from those that represent those programs. And Mrs. Harvey and myself have both had some experience with virtual schools, whether it be asynchronous or synchronous. But I think it would be good for the other board members, and not that you all aren't aware of what's going on with the virtual programs, but just to get more information. And I'm sure I'll glean some off of that as well. I would like to, when we do talk about virtual school, I would like to see, I would kind of like to break down how many virtual students we have and by the grade levels. Looking also for cost per student, whether it be cost per class or cost per core curriculum for student. Just want to compare apples to apples. So I'll leave that to your all's discretion on how you want to do that, whether it's by the year, by the class, by the semester. There was another agenda. I'm sorry, go ahead.
While you're saying that, it may be good if possible to get parent and or student participate in virtual schools, just to hear from them, their experience.
I did have a parent reach out to me today about virtual school. And I did direct them to your office. But I did explain limited knowledge that I have with the asynchronous versus synchronous. So you'll probably be getting a call, but I'm a little disturbed. I'm not disturbed, but as we heard from Mr. Lester during our work session, you guys missed this too, the outlook for the student numbers over the next few years, you know, based on trends and population. So I think that the virtual option is a very important piece, because if we're not offering that, there's a high probability we could lose our students to either surrounding counties or online virtual programs, and then that cuts in our numbers even potentially lower than what we might be projecting. So I think it's important to try to offer that option for our students so that we can keep as many as we can. And the good part about virtual school is, as you all probably already know, if they are in virtual school through our county, they're still a student in Summers County, and they can still participate in the activities and the sports and things within our county. So, any other agenda items that you all would like on the next agenda? Okay, as always, if you think of anything, reach out to Dr. Knott or myself, and we'll make sure that gets added to the agenda. Mr. McBride, item 18.
All right, I make a motion, we adjourn, and the time is 7:35.
I'll say.
Motion by Mr. McBride, seconded by Mr. Brogan, that we adjourn this meeting. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstaining? Let the minutes reflect by a 5-0 vote. This meeting is now adjourned. The time is 7:35.